Can you get 2 big E's with Sack Frog Llama, or you cooked by some shit passive like TF block for Flins? You can, but the problem is after your first E, you can end up triggering your Sack Frog before you press E again. Because the E lasts longer than the cooldown is. And also, you can't, like, hold E into hold E, because you need to, like, trigger 3 blooms to be able to do another hold E. Do Loma blooms have shared ownership like Electrocharge? No. Or do they just crit now with the old formula? Also no. Little bro thinks Lunar Bloom does something. Good one. But DPS you finished that yesterday for Neo Loma teams? I really don't know what I should be assuming for like, amount of reactions. But basically, anywhere between, like, 80 and 105k, depending on how optimistic we are on blooms. But that's in single target, and even if it's only 80, like, that means really good stuff in AoE. Is Nahida dead now? Kinda? Yeah. What build is Sucrose on for Flins? VV. VV fully M. Same way you've built her since 1.0. TGDS is her best option for like for non 5-star weapons, but the new event craftable is almost as good as CTDS, because as it turns out, 400 fucking EM is a very large number, right? It's 400 EM to Sucrose, but 400 EM to Sucrose is 80 EM for the whole team, right? Like, that's almost a fucking instructor set. Like, it's kind of crazy. What do you think about Loma without Nilo? It'll be good. Loma Hyperbloom is looking like it's gonna be the best Hyperbloom team in the game. How much of a difference is not having Yelan in a Loma Hyperbloom team? That's a good question. I don't actually know. Like, what other Hydra would you want to use? Kind of none, right? I know. Guys, stop saying that word, okay? You guys are saying I know as if that was an idea that had any merit whatsoever, okay? It doesn't. No, it does not. Because all field application and an EM buff. I mean, so does Instructor Barbara. You're not fucking playing that shit either, are you? Plus 40 CV? Yeah, but in Hyperbloom teams, Loma personal damage is not that big of a portion of team DPS. That 40 CV is only for Loma damage. It's only for Lunar Bloom damage, which right now is only Loma damage, but maybe it'll be Nefer damage too, who knows. So when I was looking at the fucking Loma leakers, right, there was someone that was 460 EM total. Right, they showed their stats. They were 460 EM total. Is Ineffa going to be any good in Loma Hyperbloom? I don't think Ineffa is going to be that great in double hydro, like, on-field Loma Hyperbloom, because I think that team actively wants to use Raiden. But I think Ineffa will be good in the Nevilette version of Hyperbloom, because you have less hydro app and less dendro app, so you have less Hyperblooms in total, and so you don't need as fast electro app or as fast electro hits. Plus, Ineffa electro app is better, right? Or, like, she doesn't have ICD on skill, right? So her electro app is faster than Raiden's, even though the hits are slower. But that means we end up with a little bit more Hyperblooms generated in total. Let's check some Nevilette teams. We'll check Hyperbloom Nevilette, we'll check Nilo Nevilette, we'll check Bloom but not Nilo Nevilette. I think those are the main ones we want to do. Burgeon, I'm pretty sure Burgeon will be worse than just Bloom. Because Loma's a character that you have to build on full EM by default, right? Because that's what she scales with anyways. And so at that point, if you add a Pyro character, you're just stealing the reactions from a Dendro character that has more EM than your Pyro character does. So it's not actually a noticeable upgrade. And then on top of that, the Burgeon kind of fucks you over. You won't have any burning uptime in that kind of team either. It's not like Nahida. What weapon do we give him? There's no shot we give him an EM weapon, right? I think we'll just go Ember here. Like, we could do Sack Jade, but I don't want to have to figure out fucking cringe-ass rotations for this bullshit. And we probably do 28-second rotations with 4 charge attacks. In this team, you go Raiden on flop, Nevilette on Maréchaussée, Farina on... I'm not sure. I think this is Farina on Golden Troop, Loma on Deepwood. What does TOM do for Nevilette? It's not TOM that I was considering. I was wondering about a different set, like the putting one of the characters on the teams on the new Nulcry support set that gives EM. But it's not going to be worth it in this team because we only have 1 stack of it. With 2 stacks, it probably is worth it though. So for the Ineffa version, we will at least consider it. Why flop over Gilded? Because flop is better. What the fuck weapon do we give her here? I mean, I guess we just do the new fucking craftable, right? No, because we don't have 2. We're not an Ascendant, so we just do Festering. Okay, so total around 100k. This is more or less what I was expecting for this one. Yeah. What team is this? This is Nevilette Hyperloom with Raiden. Not his best. No, but it's not far behind. We can also take a look at 97.8k. Lose a little bit under 2k DPS if you're gilded instead of slot. We can also take a look at triple EM Loma. Maybe it is better since her personal DPS here is really low. It is better. Okay, ever so slightly better to go triple EM here. You also look at the hypothetical sack frag to hold E. No. The thing about the problem with sack frag on Loma is you swap into Loma, her E is still deployed. You start holding E, or you try to hold E. You proc your sack frag before your hold E from the damage over time from your E. Sack frag doesn't do anything. What weapon are we assuming on Loma here? We're assuming the new craftable weapon. I guess we can also take a look at the new event weapon, since this is a team with low personal damage on Loma. It's actually slightly better. Okay, new event weapon is actually slightly better in this one, because we don't end up with that much EM, so the EM from the weapon itself is actually a bigger deal than the Lunar Bloom multiplier, right? You're gonna do Ineffa next? Yeah, that's the plan. The thing is, unironically, I think with Ineffa, you end up with more Hyperblooms, because we gotta map out reactions to properly explain this. Okay, so Llama app is every 2 seconds. Would Sack Jade be better? Yes. This is assuming free-to-play stuff, right? You can go Wolfang Farina and Sack Jade Neuvi, and it actually does noticeably increase team DPS. I might as well, right? For like 16k team DPS from just having those 2 battle pass weapons. That's so funny. Because this is a team that has really good particle generation, right? Well, at least it has good enough particle generation, and it properly swaps out for the Sack Jade buff, which means that this is R5 Sack Jade, actually. R5 Sack Jade, R5 Wolfang. Fuck. I should do R1 too. Let's do R1 too. Yeah, so it's about 9k, 8k. 9k team DPS from getting the battle pass weapons, and then basically the same thing again from getting them to R5. But yeah, that's kind of fake actually. Is Key better than Wolfang here? Yeah, 100%. Anyways, let me explain what I was trying to explain first. So Llama app is every 2 seconds, right? So let's have a mark every like second, right? They're not actually perfectly 1 second apart, but like we can pretend that they are. Okay, so your Llama app is gonna be every 2 seconds, right? So like here and here, then here and here. Raiden hits every second, but only applies Electro every 3 hits. And so the Electro app is happening here, then here, then here, right? But your Hydro app is much faster than both of them, so you basically always end up with a Hydro aura back, like somewhere around here. So that means you start with Hydro here, then you apply Electro, then Dendro. This is going to Electro Charge, and then your Dendro is gonna hit on an Electro Charge aura. When you hit on an enemy that has the fucking Electro Charge aura, like whatever, right? It has 2 auras. The Dendro will trigger 2 reactions. It'll trigger the Bloom, but it will also trigger Quicken and create a Quicken aura on the enemy. That Quicken aura can then be reacted with. If you apply Electro to it, it does Aggravate, but if you apply Hydro to it, it does Bloom. And so what actually ends up happening here is your Dendro app here on the Electrocharge enemy creates a Bloom, but it also creates a Quicken aura that effectively leads to a second Bloom. Then this application happens on an enemy that only has Hydro, so you only get 1 Bloom. Then this application, it kind of depends on when exactly the timing happened, because it's not exactly every 3 seconds for Raiden. It's up to once every 0.9 seconds, but only when you hit. So it's like somewhere between 2.7 and 3.5. So if this Electrocharge happened like here, then the Electro Aura will expire before you apply Dendro and you only get 1. However, if the Electro application happened just a tiny bit later, like here, the Dendro application happens before it's gone and you get 2. And so generally what I like assuming is that you basically get 1.5 on average here. And then here, you get 2 again, right? And it keeps repeating. And it repeats this pattern of 2, 1, and then sometimes 1, sometimes 2, for about 1.5 Bloom per Dendro application. Here's the thing, though. If Llama app is exactly every 2 seconds, and Ineffa app is also every 2 seconds, instead of having a pattern like this, you'll have a pattern that repeats exactly. Which means if you time your stuff right for the first one, it'll repeat itself for every single one after that, and every single Dendro application will give you 2 Blooms. But if you fuck it up, every single application will give you 1 instead. That being said, keep in mind, Lunar Charge hits slower than Electro Charge does. What that means is that your aura on the Lunar Charge actually lasts longer. It takes longer for the second proc of the reaction to happen and to eat the aura. And that creates a situation where even if it's just after here, it's probably gonna last long enough that it's still there by the time this Dendro app happens. In other words, even though though Ineffa's electro hits are much slower than Raiden, the application being faster means that you end up with more total seeds. Now the question is, can you Hyperbloom all of those seeds? And the answer is yes, reliably, because each Dendro app creates 2 seeds, and you have one Electro app reliably in between each Dendro app. In other words, you probably actually end up triggering more total Hyperblooms with Ineffa than with Raiden. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at how things go with Ineffa. Again, a decent amount of this is assumptions, right? I'm not sure if it's exactly every 2 seconds, but for now I'll be assuming that it is. So let's look Ineffa instead of Raiden. So there's a few things that are gonna have to change if you use Ineffa, right? First, we gotta figure out what build we go. In a team like this, you don't build that much attack on Ineffa, so her burst isn't actually that important, but you still want the burst to help maintain uptime on your skill. Although you can kind of aim on the wrong row. Oh yeah, sorry. Although it's not the end of the world if you don't have it, because you can just delay your swap back to Ineffa and use skill, because skill cooldown is still lower than skill uptime. Unironically, the best way to do this is probably some like kind of asynchronous rotations where you don't build any ER on Ineffa and you just build her full EM. So let's take a look at that. Like full EM Ineffa on flop. Okay, include Llama buff, yup. But yeah, the problem with this team is that if you slightly fuck up and your Llama app is a little bit before and you don't have enough time to wipe the Hydro Aura after, you end up with half the Hyperblooms, right? And instead of 14-12, it's gonna be 7-6, which brings your team DPS down to 95k. It's still not that bad though. But don't fuck it up, basically. Anyways, let's take a look at a few different options for weapon stuff. First, take a look at Dragon's Bane. It's a little bit worse, but not that much. Second, let's take a look at new set Farina. Yep, that's better. Makes sense to me. If Deepwood Farina is better, I'm gifting 1 million subs. About that. But yeah. This is definitely Nevilet's best team, assuming things don't go wrong. Price Sack Jade. Yeah, I mean, we can take a look at, like, actual min-maxed build stuff. So, we definitely go new set on Farina. Set 2. Number 2, Nevilet can go on Sack Jade. Let's do Sack Jade R1. 3, Farina can go on Wolf Fang. 125k. Oh yeah, we can check triple EM as well. That's true. Yeah, it's better. Triple EM Ineffa is better here. Is Sucrose over Ineffa a big downgrade here? Fuck. You're actually onto something. You're actually onto something. I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that at all. Oh no. Do you even go VV? I think you just go fucking EM, like set 2 Sucrose. Hydro's such a small portion of your damage and you already have Shred. I think you don't go VV. I think VV's worse than set 2. Okay. It's not better. And like, to be completely honest, you're probably losing some Hyperblooms from the lower Hydro app. It's probably actually worse than this. Yeah, no. This won't be it. This won't be it. I've talked myself out of it. How about Sucrose over Ineffa instead? Man, I don't like what you're saying right now, but you might be onto something again. Like, just normal Bloom without Nilo. Like, you might be cooking, actually. You know what? Fuck the Sucrose, though. We definitely go Dendro. Maybe we do go Nahida, sure. Deepwood, Baiju, Flop, Loma? Yeah, that's the play. Yeah, this isn't that good. Okay. It's not bad, but compared to the rest, it's not that good. Is Nevilet's best team Farina, Loma, Ineffa? It seems like that's gonna be the case, yeah. He doesn't need Flynn's Hyperbloom stuff yet. No, not yet. But like, thinking about this, it's probably gonna be pretty good too, huh? And then sets, we probably go Flynn's on set 1, Loma on Deepwood, Ineffa. Ineffa won't have that much Hyperbloom ownership, right? So maybe you don't give her a flop or gilded. Maybe we do something else. Chad, I've just had a really, really cursed idea. This is, yeah. Okay, let's take a look. The best thing to do here is probably Sapwood Syncto. Because Sapwood is an ER weapon, and it gives EM to your on-fielder. You can get away with it. Loma on Deepwood. Stats, triple EM, new event weapon. Who picks up the Leaf? Flynn's. But honestly, the Leaf is good on anyone. So even if someone else picks it up, it's fine. Alright, Flynn's base attack, 352. And what weapon do we give him here? I think we'll do Fjords. 101k. Interesting. Next, I want to look at stuff without Ineffa. What set do we go on Loma? Do we just go Instructor? New set? Set 2's already on someone else. Maybe you go set 2 on Loma and Gilded on Ineffa. Maybe that's the play. Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, Farina just for the app. Yeah, this is skill every 2 rotations Farina. It might be Sapwood Farina too. Oh, but it's 20-second cooldown. That might not be worth it then. 60 EM on Flynn's or 64% attack or HP on Farina. I think we'd rather have the 64% HP. No, I don't think we would actually. I think 60 EM on Flynn's is more. 4k DPS from Farina. Yep. Yeah. It's not actually 4k because this is divided by 16. Oh, that's about as good as the... Okay. And there's probably some quickens too. So it's probably a bit better than this actually. Is it gonna be his best team, really? Aww. Also, I didn't even include the fucking new set bonus on Ineffa. Plus 14% attack. You don't have healing, that's true. So you gotta like not die at 50% HP. This is Sapwood Farina. Where's the healing? There's no healing, but you do have a shield. Would I know be better? No. I know is not letting you trigger Lunar Charge at all. Or Hydro Up is too slow. Okay, what if we go EM Sense? Oh, that's worse. Yeah, because we go below the 2k thing. What about EM Sense on Ineffa? That's also worse. We're gonna add Quicken, Proc, Aggravate, number of Aggravate, damage, Aggravate. Yeah, it's almost nothing. It's like 3k DPS from the Aggravate. It's not much. I kind of hope my assumptions are unrealistic because I don't want Flynn's best team to be Hyperbloom. Like... I just think there's something deeply wrong with that. Anyways, let's take a look at non-Ineffa. That's about 100k, which is his best non-Ineffa team, for sure. Well, Kuki's replaceable, right? Can kind of go whatever here. It does seem like Hyperbloom is better than his full Lunar Charge teams, also without Ineffa. Oh, man. Oh, man. Bro, fucking hell. This is... Llama's the best character of the patch, for sure, dude. Holy. Oh, you know what I should look at as well? I should look at Burgeon Neuvillette with this shit. Like, Burn Vape, Burgeon Neuvillette. Neuvillette, Llama, Shangling, Farina. Or maybe we go Shilonen instead of Farina. There's 72k personal DPS from Neuvillette. In this team, he's getting 76k, so it's worse. Let's not bother with this shit then. Well, no, because Llama has more personal damage. But I don't want to count this shit. Get me out.
Deuce on the loose!
Yeah!
Deuce on the loose!
Deuce on the loose!